Have you ever wondered what's really going on with your serve? Well, today I'm back with another video from the Fixing My Followers series, where I take a look at your serves, giving you tips to take them to the next level. And so stay tuned, as I've picked 5 players of different playing levels, and each of them has a different fix, and so I'm sure you're going to resonate with at least one of them. All of the submissions were shot on the SwingVision app, who I'm happy to say are the sponsors of the Fixing My Followers series. Not only does the SwingVision app record high quality footage from your training sessions and matches, but it also tracks all of the key stats, including shot type and speed, a ball placement heat map of where all of your shots land, but also where you're striking all of your shots, along with detailed stats from your match play. It's literally a game-changing tool that anybody looking to improve their tennis should be using. What I personally love about it is how you can filter down your footage after your session. For example, the average video that was submitted to me was between 60 and 90 minutes long, which you can imagine is a lot of footage to look through. But because this video is purely based on the serve, I was able to filter out absolutely everything else. Just by clicking on the player that I wanted to look at's name and choosing serve as the shot type, I was able to turn a 90-minute video into a 6-minute video. This is an unbelievable tool for me as a tennis coach, but also if you're a player looking for something specific from a training session or a match, it's so easy to find. And if you're not already filming your sessions, I definitely recommend it. SwingVision have been really generous, and they're giving you, as the viewers of this video, a free swing stick worth $100 when you sign up to a year of SwingVision Pro, which includes free international shipping for the first time ever and a 60-day money-back guarantee. I'll be sharing more of SwingVision's really cool features in my upcoming videos, but if you've got any questions about it, let me know in the comments below. But now let's dive into the 5 players' serves to see what we can learn from them. First up, we have Ben, and when you look at Ben's serve, you can see that he has really nice mechanics. He has tons of good things going on with his serve. One thing you might notice is on his backswing, he's got a little bit of a Novak Djokovic going on with his wrist position. His racket head actually drops here with his wrist in this loose, relaxed position. Now, this is not something that I recommend for most players, as this can create problems when it comes to finding your contact point. However, this is not an issue for Novak and Ben, and what it does for them is it allows them to have a really loose feeling through the back of their swing. But although Ben's serve mechanics are really good, he does struggle with consistency. And in this match in particular, in his first set, his first serve percentage was only 44%, which he got away with here, but against stronger players, it's not going to cut it. Now, when looking through the serves in this first set, I noticed that Ben had a very varied height to his ball toss, which really affects the timing of everything that's going on with your serve action. Naturally, if the ball toss is higher, you've got more time, and if it's lower, you've got less time. And what this meant for Ben's serve was when he threw the ball higher, he was actually getting into this knee bend position and holding here for slightly too long, losing all of the leg drive that he would have had with a lower toss. Now, Ben did improve his first serve percentage in the second set, so it looked like he managed to find his timing throughout the match. However, a general tip for Ben and most of you watching this video is a lower ball toss can really help with your timing. It stops the need for this pause at the back of your swing, and also allows you to make contact nearer to the peak of the toss, at which point the ball is at its most still. Naturally, if the ball toss is too high, it's going to be falling as you meet it, making it tougher to time and increasing the effect that gravity has on it. So Ben, keep up the great work with your serve. I honestly think that by increasing the consistency of your ball toss height, by bringing it down slightly, not only will you be more consistent, but I think you'll be able to place the ball better and even get a bit more pop on it. Next up, we have Devran's serve, who is actually very different to Ben's serve. Devran was really consistent with a first serve percentage of 70%, with only 2 double faults in a full match. But in my opinion, this is at the cost of effectiveness. Now, this consistency is great for second serves, but I really think that Devran could get more out of his first serve. The main technical things that I noticed were when Devran was hitting the ball, his body was already on the way down. His left arm was falling and his foot was already on the ground as he made contact. To get maximum output on our serve, ideally we want to still be moving upwards as we strike the ball. You'll also notice that Devran's chest is facing down the court as he contacts the ball, creating more of a pushing motion, as opposed to what we really want is that chest still being kind of sideways on, about 45 degrees, meaning that we're still in that rotation phase as we strike the ball. And so my advice for Devran on this serve, and you watching if you've got similar issues, is to actually take your legs out of the equation initially. Focus on keeping the hips and the chest sideways for slightly longer through this pre-throw position, whilst keeping that throwing arm up for longer as well. By keeping in this position for longer, you'll be able to accelerate up to the ball as opposed to be collapsing downwards. The reason I suggest taking the legs out of the equation is often they upset timing and rhythm. And so by just serving like this, focusing on staying sideways on and keeping that left arm up, you'll have much more success and probably find that you're hitting the ball just as hard, if not harder, than you were when you were using your legs. Now, once you get comfortable doing it without using a jump, see if you can bring the legs back into it. A small knee bend and jump is good, but we want to make sure that we finished the majority of our swing before we land. So here, as opposed to landing before you finish the swing. But even without the technical suggestions, I honestly think that if Devran changed his mindset and tried to go big with his first and safer with his second, he'd naturally get more pace and more effectiveness from it anyway. Moving on to serve number 3, we're going to take a look at Marcos. And Marcos has a similar thing going on with his serve that Ben did at the start, yet his ball toss is more consistent. However, it's consistently too high in my opinion. Now sometimes he connects with it brilliantly and hits a really big serve. That's the benefit of a high toss. Because the ball is moving down, it's already got some speed on it which you can utilize to add speed to make that serve bigger. However, the downside is timing, as we mentioned with Ben. Because that ball is moving down with pace, it's actually more difficult to hit the sweet spot, which in turn takes pace away from your serve. What this high toss also does for Marcos is it puts him in a prominent pause position here, which again isn't ideal. Having more fluidity to your serve swing can also allow you to hit more efficiently. And so my tip for Marcos, just like it was for Ben, is to bring that ball toss down slightly lower. Do it bit by bit, as it's going to affect the timing of your serve, but in the long run it's only going to help you with your consistency and your accuracy. Next up, we've got Gawan's serve, who I honestly think has got tons of potential. He looks pretty natural and he's out there practicing his serve with a basket, which I recommend all of you do. Not only that, but like I mentioned before, he's filming his sessions so he can take a look at it to try to improve it. And so no matter what level you're at, get out there with a basket, practice your serves, and even better, film it. What you'll notice is Gawan set up his SwingVision slightly differently to the others. The others were all in match mode. Gawan has set it up in serve practice mode, which tailors the stats after the session just for his serve. Now, a couple of things that I would look to change for Gawan. Number one is his court position. You'll notice that Gawan stood quite far away from the center tee, which is quite common for doubles players, but even so, I would recommend standing closer to the tee, maybe about a meter or so from it. The reason being is in the long run, when you get more and more accurate with your serve placement, it's much easier to aim down the tee from here without it really hurting your wide serve. Whereas from this wide position, the wide serve is easy, but it's very, very difficult to hit down the tee. And if it does go down the tee, it's heading in the direction of your opponent at the other end. But the technical tweak that I would look at changing on Gawan's serve is the way that he bends his knees, or the timing that he bends his knees. You'll notice that he actually has his knee bend as he throws the ball up, like so, which is super common in recreational tennis. It's common because it helps you to have that push feeling that you want as you toss the ball up. The problem is it screws with your knee bend timing that you're actually going to use to get up to the ball. And so what I would practice instead, Gawan, is trying to get your body weight on your front foot to start your serve. And as you toss the ball up, rather than bending your knees, rock back onto your back leg. This is going to set you in the best position to load your back leg to get up to the ball. One final tip for Gawan is to take a look at your throwing hand, as this is actually pulling around a bit too far, forcing you to land to the left and off balance. This is also going to hurt your serve consistency and accuracy. Instead, just like Devran's tip, try and keep that ball toss arm up for a bit longer. And when you do bring it down, try to bring it down into your body. We call it the tuck, as opposed to pulling to the left. This will help you to remain more balanced and in line with your target. Serve number 5, we've got Kristina, who clearly had tons of fun in this double session with her friends. The first thing I noticed before I even saw her serve was the strap that she had on her elbow, which I see loads of in club tennis. This tells me that she has tennis or golfer's elbow, which can often be caused by overusing the arm in your strokes. And then when I saw her serve, it kind of linked together. You'll notice that Kristina actually sets up for her serve in a slightly different stance. Her back foot is actually further in front of the front foot, and the racket is pointing to the side fence like so. From this position, the racket goes straight up, the body turns to face the court, and then all of the power is coming from the arm here, putting tons of strain on the elbow. Now, the first thing that I would do to fix this is to change the stance to try to get the feet more sideways on. I'd actually normally recommend the back foot being behind the front foot, but I think this might be a step too far to begin with. By simply adjusting this starting position, it frees up a lot more space for the racket to move in. This pendulum motion is going to be much more fluid, allowing you to create more space between your racket and ball, and in turn, more natural power. It's also going to allow your hips to turn as you strike the ball, whereas before your hips were already there. Now, this is a big change to do all at once. So like I said, start off practicing being sideways on, and I would even try starting in this half serve position. Get used to your arm and your racket being behind your body, as this is going to feel really, really alien, and just practice serving like so until that starts to feel a little more normal. Once you've got used to this, you can then bring that pendulum action back into play like so. It's important to note that any technical change that you make on your serve or any shot is going to feel really strange to begin with. And if it doesn't feel strange and awkward, you're probably not making that change. This is where filming yourself comes in really, really handy, as what we feel like we're doing is often different to what we're actually doing. A huge thank you to everybody that submitted a video. I hope you learned something from it, and let me know which shot or situation you'd like me to cover in the next video in Fixing My Followers. I look forward to seeing you there.